Thank you for staying with us on the news. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs is calling for increased funding to strengthen the implementation of the country's foreign policy as global diplomacy becomes more complex and resource-intensive. In an exclusive interview with TVC News On, a reporter on foreign affairs, he explains why Nigeria's foreign policy priorities remain unchanged despite evolving global realities. Moyo Thomas reports.
Nigeria's foreign policy has, over the years, remained anchored on an African-first approach. With the assumption of office by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the administration introduced the 4D foreign policy aimed at modernizing Nigeria's foreign engagement and maximizing its global influence. In this interview, the Minister of Foreign Affairs explains that the Africa First policy remains central as it is firmly entrenched in Nigeria's constitution.
We will, of course, be building more relationships with other countries, but we also have to always remind ourselves of the foreign policy objectives of Nigeria. That is in the Constitution, the 5 foreign policy objectives. And one of them is good relations with African countries and Africa. That's why you see a lot of emphasis on Africa. And if you look at the aspirations of the continent as a whole.
While the economy is a major pillar of Nigeria's foreign policy, the minister says regional and continental security is equally critical, noting that Nigeria continues to play a quiet but strategic role in peace building and conflict prevention across Africa. He adds that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is doing a lot behind the scenes, even though its efforts may not always receive public recognition. On whether Nigeria is considering reciprocal measures following recent U.S. visa restrictions, the minister clarifies that matters relating to U.S. requests are now being coordinated through the Office of the National Security Advisor.
What I can say is that prior to all of this, we had a binational commission, which is the mechanism. Because what happens, you see, in diplomacy is you have mechanisms to guide your relationship with countries. So with regards to our relationship with the United States of America, we have a binational commission. Within that binational commission, we have several working groups.
Despite the absence of Nigerian ambassadors in several countries for nearly 3 years, Ambassador Tugar says Nigeria has managed its diplomatic relations effectively.
You have to also bear in mind that there are a lot of professionals in this building and in our missions abroad. In many countries we have a lot of officers that are serving as chargé d'affaires, and they are the ones that are representing. Yes, they have not presented letters of credence because they are not accredited ambassadors, but that notwithstanding, they have continued to manage the relationship.
As global relations become increasingly complex, the minister explains that one of Nigeria's coping strategies is active multilateral engagement, revealing that Nigeria has already received an invitation to join the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN.
It's important to develop these linkages in the global south. And the more we spread our relationships to include as many countries as possible, and importantly also as many multilateral groupings as possible, the better for Nigeria.
The minister also commends the effort of the United States, China, the European Union and other international partners in supporting Nigeria's fight against insecurity. Moyo Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.